Welcome to my channel. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a like up. Chicago fire officials said no injuries were reported at a massive fire in the West Englewood neighborhood early Monday morning. The Chicago Fire Department said officers responded to a call of a fire in the 5900 block of South Justine. At about 3:20 a.m. firefighters worked to distinguish the blaze in a residential building. The video of the situation suggested that the structure contained several apartments, although it was not immediately obvious if it was a single-family home, a 2- or 3-unit apartment complex, or apartments. Flames could be seen shooting out of the top floors of the building. No injuries or displacements were reported, CFD said. No further details were immediately available regarding what may have caused the fire to start. It was just after dawn when the quiet of Chicago's West Englewood neighborhood shattered under the piercing wail of sirens. The orange glow of flames flickered against the early morning sky, licking at the rooftops of 2-story brick homes that lined the 6500 block of South Justine Street. A thick plume of black smoke rose above the rooftops, visible for miles across the south side, as residents gathered on their porches in pajamas, clutching cups of coffee and each other in disbelief. The Chicago Fire Department's radios crackled with urgency. This was no routine call. Within minutes, engines from Firehouse 84, Truck 51, and Squad 1 were barreling toward the blaze, their tires spitting sparks against the pavement as firefighters prepared for a battle that would test every ounce of their courage, teamwork, and endurance. When the first company pulled up, the scene was chaos. Flames had already blown out the front windows of a 2.5-story frame home, the kind of older wooden structure that could go up like kindling once fire took hold. The porch was engulfed, and heat poured into the street like a living thing, pushing firefighters back even before they'd pulled their lines. "We've got heavy fire showing, second floor, extending to the attic," the lieutenant called over the radio, his voice steady but sharp. Behind him, crews rushed to connect hoses to the hydrant, boots pounding against the frozen sidewalk as water hissed through lines. Inside, the fire was moving fast. Smoke had thickened into a black, toxic curtain, rolling across the ceiling in violent waves. "Search and rescue," came the next command, and without hesitation, 2 teams grabbed their axes and Halligan bars and plunged through the doorway, disappearing into the darkness. It was the kind of moment that separates firefighters from everyone else. The instinct to run in when everyone else runs out. The house creaked ominously under the weight of the flames, but the teams pushed deeper, calling out between coughs, "Fire department, call out." No one answered. The fire crackled and roared in reply, consuming the wooden beams above. Outside, Engine 84's operator opened up the line, sending a fierce stream of water arcing into the flames. Steam exploded as the water hit the superheated walls, blanketing the street in a white fog. Truck 51 extended its aerial ladder toward the roof, where flames were breaking through the shingles in bursts of fury. "We've got fire in the attic. We're going to ventilate," the crew shouted. They moved like clockwork, each firefighter knowing their role without needing to speak. One swung his axe into the roof, cutting holes to let the heat and smoke escape, while another backed him up with a pike pole, watching for the telltale sag of weakened wood. On the ground, Battalion Chief Morales took command of the scene. He was calm, even his radios squawked with competing updates. Fire spreading to the rear porch, possible extension to the neighboring home, reports of an elderly woman unaccounted for. Morales scanned the street, quickly assessing resources. Engine 72, protect the exposure on the B side. Truck 24, get me a secondary search team inside when it's safe. His commands were crisp, confident. Decades on the job had taught him how to manage the chaos, but even he could feel the intensity of this one. The wind was working against them, gusting from the southwest and feeding the flames like a bellows. Then came the moment every firefighter dreads, the floor collapse warning. Inside, one of the interior teams had made it halfway up the stairs when the wooden treads gave way beneath them. A shout, a crash, then radio silence. "Mayday! Mayday! Firefighter down inside!" The words cut through the noise like a knife. In an instant, every movement on the scene shifted. Firefighters rushed toward the entryway, lines redirected, backup crews surged forward. The rapid intervention team, already suited up for exactly this scenario, sprinted into action. Time slowed as they disappeared into the burning home, crawling through the debris and blinding smoke to find their fallen brother. Minutes felt like hours. Outside, Morales clenched his radio, waiting for the call. Finally, "We've got him," bringing him out through the front. Two firefighters emerged through the smoke, dragging their teammate, coughing but conscious. Applause broke out from the gathered crowd across the street, who had been holding their breath in fear. Paramedics rushed in, checking vitals, applying oxygen. "I'm good," the injured firefighter insisted through the mask, trying to wave them off, his turnout gear blackened and steaming. His crewmates exchanged knowing glances. He wasn't good, but he was alive, and that was all that mattered. As the rescue unfolded, the fight against the blaze raged on. The fire had torn through the roof, sending embers flying into the cold October air. Spot fires ignited in a neighboring garage, and firefighters split their efforts to prevent the flames from spreading further down the block. The rhythmic sound of axes striking wood and the hiss of water under pressure filled the air, a brutal symphony of control versus chaos. Every firefighter on scene was soaked, faces streaked with soot and sweat, but they kept at it, methodically, relentlessly, because quitting was not an option. Meanwhile, a neighbor, Mrs. Taylor, stood wrapped in a blanket across the street, tears streaming down her face. "That house has been in that family for generations," she whispered to a paramedic. "Miss Clara raised her kids and grandkids there." The news that Miss Clara might still be inside spread quickly among the firefighters. A second search team was sent in once the interior temperature dropped enough to re-enter safely. They moved cautiously through the blackened shell of what used to be a living room, their flashlights cutting through the haze. In a back bedroom, they found signs of life: a walker, a pair of glasses, and a framed photo of a family at a picnic. Thanks for watching this video. Please subscribe my sister wives to our channel and stay with TS.